Hi, my name is Namrata, and welcome to Bar Talks. I have three amazing guests with us today. We have one more guest joining us soon, but we'd like to start off by having them introduce themselves. And could you tell us a little bit about your musical background? And we'll start right here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Harry. I'm a third semester performance major, and my music background dates back to when I was 4 years old. I started to play the piano, and then I started to play the guitar at the age of 11, and then switched to electric guitar at the age of 15.
Hi, I'm I started playing piano when I was very little, and then I switched to vocal. I am now, this is my last semester at Berklee, and I study songwriting and performance.
Hi, my name is Jacob. I'm a seventh semester professional music major. I'm a Filipino drummer, multi-instrumentalist, and producer from Houston, Texas. I started playing the drums in around 2009 when I first moved here to America, and now I'm studying here at Berklee ever since.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm really excited to talk to you about your experiences today. And yeah, let's get going. So we're going to get straight into our first actual question with you guys. You guys are all at Berklee right now, and this is not an easy career path to choose. It's something that's kind of unusual for people to kind of pursue professionally. So I was wondering what actually inspired you to pursue music professionally in the first place?
I chose to pursue music professionally for two reasons. The first reason being that I think working in the music industry is very flexible. And then the second reason being that my previous bachelor degree, the field for that degree is basically dead. So I was trying to switch field, and music is really something that I've always been interested in.
I chose to pursue music professionally because for me it's the most honest way I can express myself and the only way I can share with people around me, the world, and myself. So it was never really a hobby. And I was grateful enough to have support from both of my parents. So here we are.
So the reason why I chose to do music professionally was, I think the one thing that clicked for me was being able to work with many different individuals, all very talented from around the world. I think everyone sharing that same interest with you, I think it's something amazing. Definitely something really powerful, and that what really resonated with me in like music. Funny enough, I wanted to be an engineer originally. It was either that or do music, but I think music for me it clicked with me more. So I decided to pursue music.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. I mean, I'm really glad you guys chose the career path that you did because you all are achieving some really amazing things right now at Berklee. So you guys are very experienced now. You've been at Berklee for quite some time, but I was wondering about your origins. Can you share a story about your first performance or public recital and what that experience was like for you?
My first public recital performance ever on the guitar was during my high school talent show. I remember that I was super anxious to perform in front of people because I barely touched guitar back then. So I was super anxious, but after I went on the stage, somehow all the anxiousness went away.
My first public recital was a piano recital when I was in preschool, and I remember absolutely nothing, but I do remember that I was super nervous. And my first vocal recital, I messed that up so badly. I remember just standing on stage and kind of freezing, and then 2 minutes later I kind of just snapped and did everything on autopilot, but I don't recommend that.
So my first recital was 13 years ago when I first started learning drums. So I started learning drums from a place called School of Rock, and we had our very first recital for it was like the young program basically. So it's basically all the younger kids, and we played three songs, and I don't remember anything from it. I just remember it just went by really quick. But there's videos of me playing drums when I was like a tiny child. But yeah, I don't remember anything about my first recital.
I know. I find it so interesting how we always remember the nervousness, right? Like that's the thing that always sticks out to us the most about our first performance. But that was great. Thank you guys for sharing. So now I kind of wanted to know more about kind of how you play around with your instrument. I mean, you guys are all different instruments, so I wanted to hear for each of you, do you prefer structured composition and having it all written out, or do you prefer improvisation, and why?
Personally, I prefer improvisation because I've been playing structured composition for a long time, and coming to Berklee, one of my key things that I want to improve on is improvisation, which is why I've been really interested in that.
I like a little bit of both, but I do prefer structured more just because when you're a vocalist, you're kind of set to be in front, and having something that's written out and structured from A to Z, you kind of know what you have to do. So there's less chances of you messing up.
Yeah, I'm kind of a similar way where I do prefer both. I think especially in like my high school, when I was playing drums in high school and I was doing a lot of jazz band. Yeah, doing improv was something I really was into. But then as I started to grow older and work with more individuals, and especially being more into like the professional industry, I think I've been preferring more like structured compositions.
You can definitely see how working in a group versus working individually can definitely impact that kind of thinking of whether you prefer structured composition or improvisation. As you guys can see, there's been a change of location, but we're gonna continue on with the interview. And our next question is, how do you decide which creative risks are worth taking as a musician?
I think usually what I do is trial and error. I tend to work the best if I actually do the thing and figure out if it actually works or not.
It's usually the ideas that make you kind of comfortable that's worth exploring for me. So I've kind of developed that mindset that if I think I can't do it, I should do it for the sake of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of trial and error. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. But the cool thing about I think music in general is like it's like a language basically, pretty much. So you can change around some of the. It's almost like you can change like words and phrases around, and if it sticks, that sticks.
Yeah, that's great. I totally agree with all of those answers. I think it's very trial and error based, but also, like I said, it's like you have to definitely explore the ideas that you're uncomfortable with. So, all of you guys are in bar together. There's so many different ensembles on campus to choose from, and I'm sure you all have had your share of trying out different ensembles. But I was wondering what specifically drew you to join Berklee Asia Rising in particular.
One of the things that drew me to bar is that it offers practical real-life studio experiences. I found out the ensemble on Instagram, and then I checked their Instagram page. I found out that the members get to do videos of them performing in a studio setting. So I think that is some valuable experiences to gain.
I think what drew me to bar most is the fact that it's much more than just an ensemble classroom setting. Like we do a lot of stuff like this, and then we do like the studio sessions, and we also have our originals performed at the Loft at 921.
Which you guys should come to.
You should come.
April 8th at 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. We will all be there. But Nathan actually told me to join bar because he wanted to arrange if he wanted me to sing something for him. So I was like, totally yes. Because I've been in lots of other ensembles too, and it's always just been like come to class and then practice and then that's it. Meanwhile, this one's like you have to put in the hours after school hours too, which is kind of tiring, but it's really, really fun because the community is really, they're so nice, and it's nice to be around what? Around this community.
So I think the reason that I got drawn to bar was a lot of the different opportunities I get to work with do during this ensemble, from the different performance opportunities from like the Loft show and our recitals, and then also our big studio recording session. It definitely helps develop a professional portfolio for, especially after when I want to. Once we graduate, I think that gives us a good platform to show our work to other individuals, and then we hopefully get to work with different individuals.
That's great. I love how you guys touched on how bar is not just an ensemble class, but also holds that kind of professionally driven environment that allows you to really build your portfolio while you're here in college. So as we kind of have established that you guys are a part of BAR, and you guys are all a part of BAR this semester as well, I'd like to know a little bit more about your processes when practicing as a group together. How does the entire process happen for you guys? Does it start from practicing on your own time? How do you guys show up to class? And how does that kind of structure bleed into how you guys work as a group when you're rehearsing together?
Well, I think the first step is definitely practice on our own, because we have to get our parts down first before coming together to rehearse. I think getting down our parts could really speed up the process of rehearsals.
I think for BAR, you definitely have to come prepared to class. You can't come to class and kind of start figuring things out, because Ed likes us to be well prepared, and he sends out these emails weekly to remind us about what we're gonna bring next and what we have to practice in class. So coming unprepared to class
is unacceptable.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can, but it's not recommended. So yeah, you just have to kind of prepare everything on your own time and come to class ready to go.
Be prepared. It is definitely, I think that is the biggest takeaway of how our class is run. Is just always be prepared, always be on top of our own parts. There's a lot that we just have to practice on our own. So definitely taking the time, not just during class, but outside of class, just to learn our parts and all that. So yeah, just be prepared.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys really have to stay on top of things with just being prepared with your own stuff. And I'm assuming when you guys get together as a group to rehearse, it's a lot about just like nitpicking at things and getting everything well-rounded, right? All right then. So moving into our final set of questions, as we discussed before, BAR is not only just an ensemble class, but has very professionally driven aspects to it. And I was wondering, how do you see BAR actually preparing students for the global industry once they're out of Berklee? Like, what is something that has stuck out to you on the professional side that you feel will actually benefit your career once you're out of here?
Well, one of the experience that I think will benefit me a lot is the studio experience. As a aspiring professional guitarist, I think being able to record on my own is one thing, but being able to record in front of the producer in a studio setting is definitely another thing that I need to work on. And then I think BAR has the space to provide me that experience. So yeah,
I guess like just the overall everything in BAR is kind of different. Just the way that we do things in BAR is very different from the way we do things in other ensemble classes, and I think that's the factor that will prepare me the most, just because like you can't just come in and know nothing. You have to be prepared, and that's like a really important thing in the real world, because there's a certain expectations for you as a musician, and you want to keep that, and you want to keep your professionalism as well. So I think BAR has taught me a lot of that more now than ever compared to all of the other classes I've taken before. No hate, but yeah.
One aspect that'll definitely prepare students is the workload, because I think especially outside of college and just in the working industry in general, the workload is going to be huge, and also it's going to move very quickly. And I think BAR definitely helps students prepare in that. The other thing that I think is pretty cool is it serves as an outlet, or like almost like a resume, or like building a professional portfolio. Having all those recordings that we do, you can show these to different individuals you want to work with, saying, hey, I've done like professionally recording sessions and videos if you want to check them out. And then you can show them the BAR recording sessions that we did. So yeah, I think it definitely helps build like a really good resume and portfolio for us working musicians.
That's great, and I hope that future bar students also have the same experiences that you guys have for years to come. Now, for our last question that we ask all of our interviewees, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years from now?
Well, for me, I see myself as mostly a sideman for other artists because as a professional guitarist, to survive in the industry, you have to tour with other artists. So, and maybe on the side, I could release my own original music. But for now, I think what's most likely that's gonna happen is touring with other artists.
I would love to be touring the whole world. Amen. I also see myself releasing more music and just keep growing and learning and creating.
Very original answer. I'm also hopefully in the next 10 years I'll be touring with and working with different artists. I mainly see myself working in the West Coast, but if hopefully my talents get put in the rest of the world, then that would be cool. Working with different artists across the world. I'm also working on and getting better at like writing my own music and producing my own music.
So a huge thank you to all of you guys for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your insight and your experiences. It's going to be very, very well received, I think. And that was all for today. Thank you guys. See you at the next Bar Talk.